Hello, I am Shimelis. Welcome to this new Ethiopian history curriculum video learning program. The program is designed for grade 11 secondary school students. The general objectives of this video learning program is to enhance students' understanding of the nature of Ethiopian, African, and world history. Above all, the program has significant contributions to improve students' Ethiopian secondary school leaving certificate examination results. Grade 11 history student textbook has 9 units. The first unit has history, historiography, and human evolution. Unit 2 it states about major spots of ancient world civilization up to 500 AD, whereas Unit 3 has peoples, states, historical process in Ethiopia and the Horn to the end of 13th century. Unit 4 it comprises about the Middle Ages and early modern world 580 to 1789. Unit 5 it includes peoples and states of Africa to 1500. Unit 6 Africa and the outside world from 1500 to 1880s. Unit 7 it includes states, principalities, population movement, and interaction in Ethiopia. Unit 8 Political, social, and economic process in Ethiopia, mid-16th to mid-19th century. The last unit, it includes the Age of Revolution from 1789 to 1850. Dear students, as I have already mentioned, Unit 1, its main topic is history, historiography, and human evolution. Under the introductory part of this unit, it focuses on two major historical issues. One of the first basic issue is historical methodology and historiography. The other focus area of the unit addresses is the current scientific knowledge on human origin, including the current scientific uh, knowledge on human origins, including the evolution of early human culture. The first subtopic of this unit is history and historiography. Under this subtopic, there are very important key terms and concepts. The first one was historiography. The second, change and continuity. The third key terms is sources, primary sources, objectivity, and periodization. These are very important historical terms, and we are going to learn about more when we are going to learn each topic. This subtopic, after learning this subtopic, students will be able to understand the significance of history as a discipline. The second objective is compare and contrast prehistory with history. The third objective is classify the source of history. Dear students, it's better to start the first subtopic of this unit. It states about history as an academic discipline. Many scholars defined history in a different ways. For our understanding, I have selected the very important and common definitions of history. The first history, when we talk about the definition of history in its academic discipline, history is an organized and critical study of the past based on interpretation of evidences. Under this definition, there are two very important ideas were raised. The first one was organized. The study of history, it must be organized. And the other issue is critical study. And of course, based on evidences. Since history, it must be studied with the support of evidences or historical sources. The second definition is as an academic discipline, history refers to the study of past events, present situation, and prediction of the future relating to social, uh, economic, technological, and political developments. This definition, it was more broader than the previous. Why? Because it raises many issues. One of the issues, as it was stated, history studies the past events and it may help us to understand the present situation. And sometimes history can predict the future relating to social, economic, technological, and political developments. In this aspect, history it must be comprehensive. It also deals with change and continuity of historical developments over time. So history it deals both the change of phenomena as well as the continuity of historical events. In studying human past, historians usually attempt to answer questions such as what happened, when did it happen, how did it happen, why did it happen, and what consequences did it have? So, history answers these WH questions. These are very important questions in which historians raises. The study of history covers the period called prehistory. This was, when I say this, prehistory means the period before the beginning of the technique of writing about 4000 BC. Normally, when we are going to categorize or differentiate history from prehistory, the prerequisite was the beginning of the art of writing. So, prehistory, when you say prehistory, it was a history, the distant past of history. It was before 400,000 BC. That means before the beginning of the right of technique. History helps us to learn from the past achievement of people in the past. Dear learner, you are going to must identify the importance of history as it was stated. History mostly it helps us to learn from the best achievements of people in the past situations. History is also important for establishing identity of families, social institutions, and countries. So history helps us to know our former families, social institutions, and countries. Learning history enables students to analyze and solve problems. since history is very broad and history was studied through rigorous uh, research, and it helps students to develop their world outlooks. So, in such a way, it helps them to analyze different situations and solve problems. Uh, there are now, it's very important define, or it's better to see history and other sciences, the relations and differences between history and other sciences. Natural science study the phenomena of the physical world, while history studies human beings, human society in the past. In this case, or in this statement, it's better to see some aspects. For example, natural science, it studies the physical world, whereas history studies human beings and human society in the past. That means natural science mostly it studies the present situations. Historians, historians does not conduct controlled experiments that are common in natural sciences. This was the other differences. Sometimes history and natural science is similar in some aspects. For example, their similarities is based on both subjects. It studies based on evidences and critical researches. So, in such a way, both subjects or discipline have similar ideas. These are very important topic in our first subtopic. In the second subtopic is about historiography, a new term for history students. And now we are going to learn about historiography. But students, if you want this video learning program, please don't forget subscribe, like and share. So it's better to start the second idea, what we call historiography. Historiography refers to the history of historical writing. Historiography means the history of historical writing, means when did the writing of history was started. This was an idea answered through a discipline known as historiography. It is also a discipline dealing with the method of it also the discipline with methods of writing of history, including the techniques of historical research and documentation. That means how history was studied and documented. So this was a very important idea related to historiography. The organized and systematic study of the past emerged largely with the rise of civilization, particularly with the beginning of the technique of writing. As I have already mentioned in my previous topic, when you say civilization, we mean about the beginning of the writing technique. Why? Because people, after started the writing system, they were able to document their history. So the systematic and organized study of history, it was started after the beginning of the writing technique. The beginning of Western European historical tradition is often associated with the ancient Greek historian named Herodotus, who lived from 455 to 400 BC. Herodotus wrote a long account or histories of the wars between the Greeks and the Persians. So Herodotus is sometimes considered as the father of history, who started the writing of history in Greek or in Europe. His most famous successor was Thucydides, who lived from 455 to 400 BC. Thucydides was different from Herodotus because Thucydides wrote history chronologically, wrote about the war between Athens and Sparta, known as the Peloponnesian War, which is from 431 to 408. During the 8th 18th or 19th century, the methods of modern academic historical study were developed and history became a field of study in many schools. So, in the 19th century, history emerged as a discipline studied in universities. For the first time, Leopold von Ranke, a German historian, started the study of modern history in Europe. Because of this, Herodotus, I mean, Leopold von Ranke, he was considered as the father of modern historiography. In the with this, we are winding up today's video lesson program. In the coming program, it's better to we are going to learn about what are the key elements in the study of history. So, please, students, if you like this video lesson, please subscribe, like, and share it for other students because this program it was new and it helps me to address for every students. Please again subscribe, like, and share. Don't forget it. So see you again. Thank you. My name is Shemalis, a history teacher. With this, we are winding up today's lesson. Bye bye.